I'm going to tell you something that most real estate agents think is crazy. I turn business down almost every single week. When someone calls me and asks me to see a house over 60 minutes away in another town, I say, no, thank you. Now, I'm not being lazy. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on why I don't list or show properties outside the Cherokee Village area and why choosing an agent who specializes instead of generalizes is the only way to protect your investment in the Ozarks. Most agents try to cover the whole state, and they can legally do that since they are licensed in the state they are in. For me, it's Arkansas. They're driving all over. Sure, they can unlock a door for you, but many questions may go unanswered. Can they tell you why a house on this street is priced $20,000 higher than the one 3 blocks over? Or what utility company is available for this house? In Cherokee Village, we have over 13,000 acres and nearly 5,000 residents, so it's kind of its own world. If I spend my time learning the market in several different cities and counties, I'm losing my edge right here. I'd rather be 100% right about Cherokee Village than 50% right about everywhere else. And I certainly do not want to lead you wrong on a house or property you are investing your money in. Let's talk about the biggest point of confusion for out-of-towners when they come to Cherokee Village. They see the SID assessment and immediately think, oh, it's a homeowners association, I'm not interested. But SID is not a homeowners association. It stands for Suburban Improvement District. And I actually had a buyer who brought some property here in Cherokee Village. They started out looking in Hardy near the river, but they ended up purchasing 3 lots next to each other in Cherokee Village. And I don't think any time during the process did we actually talk about taxes. Can't particularly remember. But when you buy property on the river, it has a higher tax. Most lots in Cherokee Village are $90. On the river and the lake, it can be up to $740. Well, the SID tax on these 3 lots happened to be $340 each. So that's over $1,000 they would have to pay every year just in SID. That doesn't count county taxes or maintenance or anything else. Luckily, there wasn't a home on this, so it was just vacant land. So after they got their first tax bill, they're like, whoa, we can't afford this if we're just going to be waiting to build on this property. So they go ahead and listed it for sale. Now, on the other hand, the Suburban Improvement District does have that tax, and you do have to pay that, but it's not a homeowners association. There's no additional restrictions that they implement. That SID fee is what helps to maintain our amenities, the 7 lakes, the 2 golf courses, the trails. It's attached to your county taxes, so you pay it every year to the county, but it's not like this board of people in your neighborhood with a clipboard and they go around saying, oh, you have to paint your house or you have to have a certain roof on your building. It is not additional restrictions. So you don't have to worry about that. Check your bill of assurance or city ordinances. That's where your restrictions are going to be on what you can put on your property, how you take care of your property. SID is just there to maintain the amenities. It's not gonna be like someone putting additional restrictions on your house or even the community. Cherokee Village started out as a planned community. It was started early on, probably in the 60s, maybe the 70s, because many of the homes that are built in the early additions are about that date of building time. So because I stay within Cherokee Village, I kind of know the biography of these additions. Now, some of our lake homes are in the floodplains. Several years ago, especially on Lake Thunderbird, the federal government did a flyover of the Cherokee Village homes on Lake Thunderbird and said, oh, they're on water. They must all be in a floodplain. So every home on Lake Thunderbird was labeled as such. All the homeowners got together and were able to get a discounted rate from area surveyors, and they were able to do elevation surveys to show that none of these homes were in the floodplain. I take that back. There was, I know one that was in the floodplain. So that person has to have flood insurance. So if you're purchasing a lake home, you would want to ask if that seller has the elevation survey or if their current lender requires flood insurance. Because most often lakes homes do not have that flood insurance because they're not like river homes where the water level rises and ebbs and flows so greatly that you need to worry about it actually flooding your home. But if I wasn't aware of that, if I hadn't lived here, it might not be something that ever came up, and you wouldn't know to ask for that of a seller when you're going to purchase your lake home. We have 7 lakes in Cherokee Village, and they're not created equal. Some are no wake, some are for skiing, some have better fishing. So if you're looking for a quiet retirement, you don't want to accidentally buy on the lake where people are pulling tubes past your decks at 2 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon when you're trying to fish off your dock. An agent from 2 towns over just sees lakefront, and I see your Saturday afternoon being ruined. So this is also why I encourage you to drive through a neighborhood at different times of the day to see what the neighborhood or the lake is like. Hopefully you can get out on the lake, see how many boats are out there, see what time of day people go out. Most of our lakes are not busy for the whole year except Memorial Day and 4th of July. I would say those are the only times that they get really busy. And I refuse to ski on those days because it's just too busy. But almost any other day, you're going to be able to have fun out there. There might be a few boats, but it's not going to be so busy that you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself. When you buy a house, the sale is just the beginning. You're going to need a dock builder, a plumber who knows these specific pipes, or a local lender who understands those SID assessments. Now, my Rolodex isn't just regional, it's local. I know the people who actually show up when they say they will because I see them at the grocery store. I'm not just giving you a house, I'm plugging you into the community. So once you buy a home from me, feel free to reach back out to me. If it doesn't involve selling or listing, and I'll be glad to hook you up with those people that work hard in the community and make sure that you're taken care of. And if I do ever give you someone that you need to get help from and working on your house, make sure to tell me, one, if they don't call you back, and two, if they don't do the work the way you wanted them to, or you paid them and they didn't finish the job. Any of those things I would want to know to take them off my list, because I want to make sure that I'm giving people out that actually do the work that my clients need. But I hope that I can be a resource for you once you worked with me to buy or sell property. And even if you didn't work with me, you could always call me and say, who does this? I have people that call me and say, who's a surveyor, who's somebody that can do septic inspections, who can do me a layout plan. And I haven't worked with them before. I'm still going to give them the information. But obviously, if you work with me, I'm going to know you better and what kind of person that you need to be doing the work for you. I do not refuse completely to work with people that are out of the area to list or sell, or work with a buyer on the property. Sometimes it happens that I go farther out, and I don't usually recommend that people work with me. I'll actually say, are you sure you don't want me to refer this out? I can send you to someone that knows the area better and would be a better representation for you. But oftentimes people, once they start working with an agent, they don't want to change. And I can understand that. You've already built that trust and that rapport. You've become to know them. So recently I have had a couple deals where I worked out of area. I had a family that lived here in Cherokee Village that they wanted me to list their home, but when they moved, they were not planning on going too far away. So we started looking at houses that were probably 30 minutes away, but they couldn't find what they were looking for. So we ended up going way beyond what I normally go, but they found the home that they wanted. We were able to close on their home and selling, and buying in a timely manner. It wasn't all cake and ice cream along the way, but I was able to help them even though they were far away. The agent on the other side was very easy to work with. She gave me the information that they needed to know to make their decisions and get their utilities hooked up and things like that. So it worked out really well. I also have a closing that just happened this week from another buyer that both of these actually came through YouTube, that he had actually originally made an offer on a house that's only about 20 minutes away in Horseshoe Bend. And that had progressed enough that we could have closed, but then he wasn't able to sell his house. So we had to terminate that offer because they needed to move on and sell their home. However, he came back a few months later to the spring and was able to find a home that would work for him, but it was much even farther. I think it's got to be the farthest I've gone. It was about 2.5 hours away in a small town that I've never been to before. And so I really tried to get him to find somebody else to work it because I didn't feel comfortable not knowing that area, not knowing the neighborhood he was buying in. And as our company requires, and probably my license requires, I go look at the property and make sure I know what they're buying so I can give them information about it and guide them through the process as well. He did decide to go ahead and work with me. I was able to go look at the home, and it is a brick home, so I feel confident that it's going to be good for him. But it was a little out of my comfort zone, but we managed to get it done. Again, I worked with a good agent, was able to give me the information. He was able to organize the repairs, so the home is going to be move-in ready when the buyer gets here, and he doesn't have to worry about organizing a bunch of stuff. And actually, he talked to one of the workers so that he knows that he can talk to him if he needs something in the future. So it did work out well. I'm not saying it's a horrible idea, but in general, I try to stick to my area so that I can answer questions better that you have about a property and the community. The bottom line is this: you deserve an expert who lives and breathes the streets you're moving to. I chose to be the Cherokee Village specialist because I believe in this community and I want my clients to have the insider advantage. Now, if you're still in the early stages of buying and you're worried about how to manage all of this from maybe hundreds of miles away, I've got you covered. Watch my video on long distance home buying tips, or I break down how we handle virtual tours and vetting properties so you don't have to jump in the car every time a house hits the market. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.